I don't know what
happened. So she was so comfortable. So comfortable to talk about, and then we were later on.
Welcome to another episode of Break Up to Wake Up. Today my guest is Taylor. Taylor is a business operations consultant who helps entrepreneurs create systems to help save them time and money. Is there anything else you'd like to add to your resume for the people?
Let's see here. I am a speaker, an Instagram personality, I guess, for my own little
creator.
A content creator for my own little corner of Instagram. A great friend, a great person. Okay.
Thank you. We know who you are now. And just a little bit about the show, as I kind of say this every episode. The purpose of the show is not to bash our exes or talk shit about them, even though that's okay to do, as needed. But it's really just to reflect on these experiences that involve like heartbreak or disappointment and the ending of relationships, and just build community around an experience that feels really isolating while we're going through it. So also before we get started, I want to say that all of these questions are totally optional. You are here voluntarily. If there's anything you don't want to answer, something's making you uncomfortable, you can just say so, and it's like totally fine. Because I want this to feel like reflective and like positive, not like triggering. So yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, okay. And some people might, I don't know, most of the people that I've had on, they are fine, just kind of avoiding saying this person's name that they talk about. But if you want to say their name, you want me to bleep it out later, or if you're just going to use a nickname, you're just going to not say their name, any of those things are fine. Whatever you're comfortable with.
Okay.
Whatever, so any way you want to do that is fine.
Okay.
Okay. So, okay. Let's start. So I definitely have what people sometimes refer to as a big X, where it's the one that was the most drama or the most history or the most issues with, the one who had I had the most devastation over. So if I were to ask you if you have a big X, or a breakup that was the most hard for you to deal with, does one pop out at you, or is it multiple?
Well, the thing with me is that after a breakup, I kind of just cancel it. I move on and I forget about the person completely. So really, when you are saying big X, I'm just thinking about my most recent breakup.
Okay. Yeah.
Which was also the hardest to kind of close the chapter on. And it also helped me bloom into a new person.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
Yeah, that's my big X.
Yeah, okay. Okay, and what was your relationship history like before this person? Had you been in a lot of relationships before?
Oh, girl.
Had you been dating for a while in life, or what?
I would say I've been in a lot of relationships. I just love people, and I love
they love you
bonding.
Too.
They love me too. Clearly, I'm just playing. And I love bonding with people. So I would say that I've been in some relationships. Okay. Most of them, on average, lasting 1-2 years.
Okay. What you really experienced in terms of having relationships?
I would say so, yes. Yeah. My mom let me date in high school, so I was doing my thing.
Yeah, I always felt like I was a late bloomer because I did not date in high school, but
I mean, there's still pros and the cons.
Yeah,
so.
I feel like I missed a lot of the high school dating drama, but I felt left out sometimes.
Oh, it's okay. We're grown now.
Yeah.
Welcome.
And so this particular recent relationship that ended for you, how would you kind of describe where you were at in life when this relationship started? Were you, in college still, or an independent adult, or living at home still, or kind of where were you at?
Okay, so a little backstory. I'm not originally from Atlanta, but I moved to Atlanta maybe 4.5 years ago. So during this time, I was probably 2 years in. And just another side note is that I started here from scratch. So I just packed all my stuff up in my car, drove up here, stayed in the Airbnb, no job, and just started from scratch.
Okay.
So 2 years in, I'm feeling like I'm finally getting my feet underneath me. I have a job. I have some friends now. Like, things are going great. I had recently locked my hair.
Yeah,
I was
beautiful.
Thank you. I got braces. So I was just like on a great path, loving myself and just happy to be here. So I was in a very content place.
Okay, good.
So I wasn't feeling like I needed to be in a relationship. I wasn't looking to date. I was just out here being me, living life.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good place to like start a relationship.
Yeah.
I with my big ex, I was pretty much like in love at first sight with her. So that was like a really, it's like my first impression was like, wow, this is it. This is it for me. That was me. But what was your like first impression with this person, and like when you met, like, so also how did you meet, and like then what was your first impression?
Okay, so again, out here living life, not looking for anything, doing my thing, finding friends. So a big way that I used to find friends were through Tinder, which made some people be like,
I did that too when I first moved. I did that too. I found some good friends on Tinder.
Exactly, one of my great friends, she's from Tinder. So and I was very clear about like, in my bio, what I'm looking for. I'm not here for a relationship. I'm here to make friends, vibe. I'm in art. I'm into let's hang, let's chill. So we clearly matched or whatever, and we were chatting because I chat with every paragraphs, girl. Like I ask people like, what's your greatest thing? You know, what do you want to do in life? What's your passion? So we ended up getting cool. Exactly, but I'm not the type on Tinder to like drag out the conversation. It's like, okay, so we're gonna meet our way. Because my thumbs are tired. So she was somebody I met on Tinder. We were cool. Like, I thought that she was cool people, good vibes. Me and a friend that was in town, we went to hang out with her and her friends because she was like, why don't y'all just come chill? Okay, cool. So we went over there. She was like, you know, had a lot of personality. She was cool. We're drinking. It was fun. So I'm like, oh, this is a fun friend that I can have. Awesome. Let's be friends.
Okay.
But yeah, it ended up not, I guess, what happened? Let's see. Maybe some drinks, you know. And we were playing like Truth or Dare. I know. And that's what happened. And then we're like, okay, so maybe we'll try to be more than friends. I don't know. But also I was still like, or we can just be friends.
Like you were fine either way.
Exactly. So I gave it a chance.
Okay, so then how did it go from there to then the relationship? Like a little summary of how things progressed.
I would say they just progressed naturally. We spent a lot of time together. We enjoyed each other's company, had a lot of fun. Again, like just out here living life. And then it was like, okay, I like you, you like me. Should we be in a relationship or what's going on here? Okay,
and then y'all were like, let's do the relationship.
I mean, there were some
some up and down,
some ups and downs down the way, some back and forth. Like, okay, are we friends or what are we doing here? Of course, I found out some information later in life, like, oh, that's what was actually going on during that time. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's pretty much it. It happened naturally.
Okay, but do you feel like, so would you say that from that initial experience there were already kind of like maybe some like red flags you ignored at that
point? Girl, there were plenty of red flags. But I am very like, I'm a Cancer. I'm very forgiving, loving. Like, let's just like, I'll give them a chance. Let's figure this out together.
They're not a bad person. They might just be a little shady.
Exactly. Or they may have grown up in a certain way that made them this way. Like, maybe deeper than this. But there were definitely some red flags, especially like, spoiler alert, basically the relationship ended over like dishonesty and like lack of integrity and things like that. So I did definitely see some red flags in the beginning. One is like a huge red flag that someone may just like be dishonest is when they lie over little things. Like, even if they're talking to their friends on their phone and they're just like lying like, I just got off work. What? You didn't go to work today. Why did you lie for no reason? So things like that. Even it was this one time, well, it was earlier on when we were first like meeting each other. I had went off for a vacation. I went on a cruise. It was cool. You know, especially like when you're first meeting someone, it's like, all right, like if I get back and, you know, you're not interested anymore, that's cool.
Yeah.
Right? But just say that.
Yeah.
So it was an instance where I got back and there was like a lack of conversation or lack of, I'm like, okay, all right, well, let's, you know, what's going on? You want to talk?
Seeming like a lack of interest.
Yes, but I'm very communicative. So I will ask like, hey, what's going on? And they're like, oh, well, I was actually in the hospital with the flu and I have this thing. Yeah.
It's like a long story.
It was a long story. And I was like, oh, okay, so you don't want to talk or you do want to talk? Or like, yeah, and
like,
then,
where are we at now?
And all of that was a lie. So it's things like that. It's like, okay, if you're lying over small things, then there may be something like wrong with like core.
Yeah. I feel you. Okay. Yeah.
I forgot what the question was.
No. That answered it though. Somewhere.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So on like another note, you know, what were some things that you remember really liking about her at the beginning?
Oh, absolutely. Again, like she was very fun spirited. Like I'm very lively. I like to go out and just like have a good time. And so did she. She also had like a good relationship with her friends. I'm a very friendly person. You know, they're really tight. So I'm like, oh, I love that.
A little friend group.
A little friend group. Yeah. I'm like, I love that. It's small. They all, you know, they're great people. I love this. She was down to like go to art stuff with me and experience new things with me. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So all those things.
A companion.
A great friend. She was a great friend.
A great friend. Yeah. So I guess on that note also, do you feel like there were things like throughout the dating stage and then the relationship stage that like kind of brought you closer, like bonded you? Like was it just that you could just do fun things together? Just really enjoyed that. Like sometimes it might be sometimes it like, you know, trauma bonding, as they say, like, you know, or just like,
horrible.
Or like shared things that you just enjoyed, like things that just made you like feel closer a lot.
Yeah, probably like bad habits. Yep.
You like enabled each other.
Yeah. Pretty much. Sounds like now that I think about it, like, yeah, that was pretty bad. That, you know, so all we did was, you know, drink Jack Daniels and
party
like Friday to Monday. But yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it. I mean, there were some things that transpired that kind of, I wouldn't say maybe it brought us together. It was a horrible experience, right? I guess that is trauma bonding, huh? When it's a horrible experience that happens and like eventually you end up like coming closer.
It brings you closer because of how terrible it was.
Yeah, but it was horrible, and it probably shouldn't have brought us closer. It probably should have like drove me away. But I don't know if we want to go there yet, or if you have other questions. So we'll get to that.
I think we'll get there.
Make me hot, girl. Spill on my tea.
So further into the relationship, I feel like the things with my longest relationship was like, you know, my big ex, and I feel like kind of some of the things I liked about her at the beginning were very different from the things that I like loved about her after we were in a relationship and I got to know her better. Like I think as I spent more time with her when we were actually together all the time, was that she had this like really cool sense of like duality that me as a Gemini I really valued. It was like we could go out and she was like very like smooth, like she dressed very cool. Like very like too cool for school when we went out. But when we were just alone, she was like the biggest weirdo I've ever just, you know, like a crazy person. And I was like, I really appreciated having like the best of both worlds in that sense. And I was like, that was something I always like really loved about her. It was that I could like, you know, make me feel cool in public, but then in private we can be nerds, you know. So like as y'all kind of, you know, were deeper into the relationship, like what were things that you were like, I love this about this person, or like this makes me feel passionate about this person? If anything.
I would definitely just say like her personality probably. Like she was always like she was a Leo, always you know, trying to be the center of attention, but it was fun and you know, she had a good time and it made other people feel like they had a good time. So everyone pretty much got along with her and I appreciated that.
Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah, I would definitely just say like her spunkiness. Yeah.
I feel like I get really attracted to like extroverts because I'm pretty introverted. So when someone else is like very like friendly and talkative with everybody, I'm just like, wow, look at you, you know. So,
And you know, that's so interesting because I'm pretty extroverted and now I'm realizing that I'm more attached and attracted to like introverted people. Now, this particular ex was like out of the ordinary, right, for me. And it also made me seem like, okay, like maybe I should not be with an extrovert because then like at some point I gotta like either stand down or like go harder.
Oh, okay. Like,
and that's a lot.
Like it's like a competition or there's not enough room for both of us?
It's not enough room. And it's like, okay, if you're doing the most or you're doing that, I'm just going to chill over this way and mind my business. And that's not my personality. So that's very interesting that you said that because now it's like resonating.
Yeah, it's like there's a little more balance if one of you is more of you. Okay, and how long were y'all together exactly?
It was like 2 years.
Okay.
Something like that.
Decent amount of time. Okay. So what were... I think you had mentioned that there were like kind of multiple breakups or like breaks, would you say? Yeah? Okay. So when those things were kind of happening, like what were some things that kept you like holding on to wanting to work things out? Like when you were like, I'm done, like what made you come back?
A lot of different things. I think more so in the beginning because some things happened before we were like official too. And it's like, dang, really, Taylor? Like you wasn't paying attention. Like, but there were also other things that were going on in my life where again, I was needing a sense of security, right? A sense of like familiarity. Yeah. Girl, I can't even talk. Familiarity. Boom.
That thing.
And it's like I felt like I had to try to make it work. Which was probably not the best idea, but also it ended up working out for me. Like, for example, during that time, I said I had just moved to Atlanta. At the time, girl, I was making it work. I was subleasing or roommating off this house. I found off Craigslist. Like, that was my life. I was just like making it work. Yeah. And then so we started to make plans, right? Of course, like all lesbians like immediately move in together. And then like, you know, maybe we can like figure something out. And I'm like, okay, boom. So in that case, I'll have somewhere to stay for a whole year for a lease on an apartment. So it's really, I was chasing security. So when things happened, it was just like, okay, well, I can either, you know, take her back and feel comfortable and or I can just like give up, start and figure it out and start from scratch. I really wasn't trying to do the latter. So I just kept on pushing on. Yeah. So, I mean, it worked out. Like I don't regret any of it. Yeah. But it's things like that I had to like make a choice. So, yeah, that's what I would say. A lot of it was just for the security, especially when we moved in together and we have a whole lease and, you know, put down money for the deposit and bought all this stuff and and it's like, all right, I can either A, choose to figure out and work this out with her or B, start from scratch. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's like part of what I always like want to bring up during like Singles Awareness Month. Yeah. Like, cause I haven't really spent a lot of time in relationships and I was like, sometimes I feel like people in relationships like take for granted the like financial security that you have of like sharing, like having a 2-income household is like really important, you know? And then like, I remember I had a friend in college who like, her and her boyfriend had been together for like 4 years and then, he wanted to do like an education program for like software development or something. Oh, no. And so, but it was full time and he was not paid. And this was like an 8-month program where he had a full-time job that he was not getting paid for because it was a training program. Okay. And it's like he wouldn't have been able to do that if he did not have a girlfriend who could pay all the bills while he did that. And then after he finished, now he has a great, like awesome paying software job after that. And I was just like, see, I couldn't do that. I wouldn't have that opportunity, you know, because I was generally spent most of my life single. So I'm just like, during Singles Awareness Month, I'm always like, y'all don't understand how good y'all have it.
You're funny.
or I'm just sometimes I'm like, dang, imagine how much more money I would have saved if I was splitting rent for the past 6 years. Like,
yeah, but there are also things that you got to think about too, because shit may happen on their end that you kind of got to cover, like somebody getting their car repoed or going to jail, and you got to go.
Yeah,
girl.
That's true. That's a good point. Like their benefits become your benefits, but their problems also become your problems.
Of problems.
That's very true. Yeah, and I do have a tendency to like spend more money on people I'm dating.
You go out to eat all the time. You gotta pay for two drinks. You go on vacation. You're doing the most.
Very true.
You have a birthday. Here's Christmas. Here's Valentine's Day. You're spending money.
Yeah, that's true. And I will say even also with that, my like giving like love language is definitely gifts. Like I do tend to spend more money when I'm like dating somebody. It's like that's also true. You know, it's pros and cons.
Yeah. I just had to throw that in there because
that's true. me and my like longest relationship, we attempted to get back together for almost like 2 years. And then I just kind of had to at a certain point accept like you're not actually gonna get back together. I was like, you don't actually want to be back with me. It's been 2 years and it's like you're still not giving me this relationship again. So, you know, I had to just like decide to like, you know, walk away after we had been like trying to reconcile for so long. But why would you say like that y'all's attempts to like reconcile were unsuccessful? I would imagine like if you're giving that time of day to reconcile, there's probably some type of like decent communication that's happening or like some type of like common ground that's happening for it to even be on the table, you know? So like, why do you think things continued to be unsuccessful when you were trying to reconcile?
I would definitely say it was always a lack of integrity on her end. Unfortunately, a lot of the issues that transpired were dishonesty and, you know, cheating or communicating with someone or, you know, a lot of like dishonest type of things. And I'm very logical person. I'm very logical. Okay. So I'm like, okay, so this is clearly a thing. You know, we can A, go to counseling and figure out like what's really going on between us, or B, just like break up. She'll always pick, let's go to counseling. I'll figure it out. And it would never happen. Or it'd be like, oh, I made an appointment, but something happened, you know what I mean? And
like it was all talk and no action.
Exactly. So that's why I say lack of integrity, because there was no follow through. And the same issues were happening and it was always the same. It was a huge cycle, a huge pattern going on. And it was like, all right, well, I can either choose to continue this or I can get out of it. Now, there were a lot of things for me. It took a lot for me to get out of it, and I had to like seek therapy on my own and like kind of build myself up from that, because again, I'm coming from a place where I had to scrabble around for security just for a roof over my head. So it's like, all right, I need to figure out what I need to put in place in order for me to feel safe to leave this relationship. So that was huge for me.
Yeah, it's very, very mature.
Absolutely. And then like in all of that, you know, I started a business, I did all these other things. So I felt confident enough that I was going to be fine, even if I had to start from scratch. So, yeah.
I feel so I guess like speaking of like the cheating and the dishonesty, when I was trying to reconcile things with my ex, she basically had another girl. And she was kind of going back and forth between us. Even though, and I was like, she would like come to me and I'd be like, you cannot talk to both of us at the same time. She'd be like, okay, I'm not. And then like a couple months later, I would find out that they're still talking. And then, I would stop talking to her. And then a couple months later, she's like, I'm not talking to her anymore. I promise I'm not talking to her anymore today. And then I take, and then it was just like a cycle like that. And then one time we went out to the club and I saw the other girl there. And I was like, ha, like, she chose me. Like, I was like, I got her, I won. And then like a couple months later, I find out she's still talking to her. And then I was like, wow, I'm stupid. Like, and then I just felt so like embarrassed. I was just like, I feel embarrassed. And I was really walking around here like I won some prize. That was this like person who does not want to be with me. You know, so I just like, all of a sudden I just felt such like embarrassment. I was like, I'm ashamed that I'm still trying to give you another chance after all of this, you know? So like, did you ever feel like things like that? Like, did you ever feel like, I don't want to put up with this, I'm embarrassed or I'm ashamed that like I'm putting up with this? Like, did you ever feel that way?
Absolutely. Like all throughout the relationship, really. And it's like, it comes to a point where you don't even want to share with your friends anymore, because it's like, they told you so, or they heard it before, or like you're just, it's like a broken record, really. So I felt a lot of like embarrassment throughout a lot of that. So I know we were speaking before we started filming, but you're saying it feels isolating sometimes when you're going through a breakup and you feel like no one else can really understand. But I would definitely say like I felt that way. Of course, like when you can't share with other people what's going on with you and you just kind of like just gotta figure it out and process your own feelings. So even like after the breakup, like when I was still working for my therapist and all the other stuff, I still felt like ashamed. Like I'm not dumb. I'm a very smart cookie, okay? And I felt like I should have known better or I should have did other things. But one thing that always stuck with me that my therapist would share with me is like, you did what you could at the time with the information that you had. Yeah. So you can't necessarily be ashamed or embarrassed. Everything ended up working out. Everything happens for a reason, and for some reason it was meant for you to learn through that. If you wouldn't have been going through this situation with her, then you wouldn't have came to me, and we wouldn't have done all this work on yourself. So, you know, of course, everything like comes to light, but I definitely felt like a little like ashamed too. And even like now, even though it's been over a year, I feel like sometimes I just have random flashbacks and I'm like, damn, I was dumb as hell. Why would I do that? Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's also feeling like I can't really share that with people. Especially, I am in a relationship right now, so I definitely can't share it with her. I'm just like, what the hell? Yeah. But it's also a thing that you're like processing and you're moving forward, and it's like, okay, well, I have to just let that go.
Yeah. So I think you kind of mentioned like a little bit of the story when we talked prior, but like, I guess like talk me through like when you like caught her cheating, or like when you knew that was happening, or like how did that like unfold basically?
I'll walk you through different situations, but spoiler alert. Basically, I went through her phone. Or her watch or something.
Her Apple Watch?
Her Apple Watch. Yeah, the Apple Watch.
The text came up?
Everything. If you're cheating out there, make sure you delete the message from your Apple Watch, okay? Because they don't delete when you delete them out your phone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I heard a story of some girl caught her boyfriend cheating because, like, you know, the text will come up on your laptop. Sometimes if you have a Mac, and, like, she was, like, in front of his laptop and saw the text coming in from another girl.
Technology. Okay, you can find out anything. Yeah, girl. So I'll share like the first time and maybe like the last time. Okay. I don't know. If I feel like it.
Yeah, whatever you feel.
So the first time was, and again, we weren't really like in a relationship, but this is crazy. We were very like exclusive. At least we talked about being exclusive, spent most of our time together, things like that. It was an unfortunate night or whatever. I had went out with my good friend. I invited her out there after she got done with her brother's hair, whatever. It's a place we always go. Cool. Had a great time. We were drinking a little bit. Boom. On our way back to where I was staying at the time. She, for some reason, wanted to like speed ahead of me and run a light or something like that. Like we were racing, but whoop whoop. The police pull her over or whatever and find out that she got a warrant.
Oh shit!
Who knew?
What?
Who knew? And I'm just like chilling at the house because I just got there. I'm like, oh, okay. So they ended up arresting her and taking her to jail.
Wow.
Yeah, because I guess whatever, she had something going on. Okay. It wasn't nothing serious, but enough for a warrant.
Or like unpaid parking tickets.
You know, stuff so like that. You know, I wrote my number on a little piece of paper and slid it to her like, here's my number. We'll figure it out. Because I'm a nice person like that. So I took all her things. She had to go to work, I think the next day or maybe the day after that or something like that. But I took all her belongings out her car, you know, brought it in the house. We could figure it out. So I did know her password. Never been through her phone before, but I had to get her phone so I can like, you know, figure out what's going on. Yeah. Tell her mom or da. But then, you know, there's a weird message there. Like,
okay. So you weren't like suspicious. You just happened to need it.
No, I did have some gut feelings. I'm a Cancer. I'm very in touch with my emotions. It was some weird, not weird, but not enough like for me to be like,
intuition was a little like,
yeah, what's really going on here? But yeah, when I clicked on the message, I saw the thread, and I just saw a whole bunch of just lies, just like where she was at earlier that night. Like apparently before she came out with us, she was with this person. It was like a lot. And I saw a whole bunch of other messages and a whole bunch of other messages, and basically like her lying to people all the time, like about everything, and lying to me about stuff. And it was like a lot. So I'm like, all right, this is a lot of emotions. I just saw you get, you know, put in jail.
Yeah.
And
I'm here trying to help you.
I'm over here trying to help you.
Yeah.
And I found out all this like detrimental like information. So boom, but guess what I did? I put my feelings to the side and I helped to get her out of jail.
Like, let's handle the problem at hand.
You know, because that's just how I am now. And then we'll talk about it later. Boom. All right, we talked about it. Clearly, I took her back, right? Whatever. And clearly, I moved in with her. Oh, girl.